First of all, you're there at a fintech conference in Singapore. How does Twitter fit into that whole different part, or should I say, that whole sphere?
Rich, thank you for having me. It's an exciting festival at the moment with a convergence between the fintech conversation and climate and sustainability conversations, both of which are incredibly important ones to have and to weigh the pros and cons together. Twitter here, we're very much a part of this conversation. We've seen the conversation volume growth about sustainability and climate change just skyrocket over the last year. We saw a big change in 2018 when we started to see growth of the conversations, and this year, just in 9 months, we've doubled 2018 volume of conversations. And we're seeing wonderful trends emerge out of it. People moving from observation to being action-oriented. And also we're seeing that these conversations are coming equally from developed markets as they are developing markets.
Maya, fintech, does that in any way, how does that sit with sustainability and this whole noise, if you will, surrounding sustainability and climate change?
I think the decisions that we make for sustainability and climate change affect pretty much all consumers and all corporations, if you will, right? If we look at trends, there are 3 key trends around planet that we saw emerge. One was, consumers really thinking about an ethical life. Second was really thinking about sustainable steps, being very action-oriented. But third, and importantly, was around green corporations and clean corporations. And this is where I think the business conversation and the finance conversation has to come together with the sustainability conversation, and decisions have to be made holistically for the world, for the corporate world per se.
Okay, Maya, tell us, how does the conversation, as you put it there, differ in the Asia-Pacific compared to, let's say, Europe and the United States with regards to these topics that we're talking about, sustainability and climate change?
I think there are wonderful movements that start around the entire world, globally, around climate change. We saw Greta Thunberg, this wonderful teenager who has managed to get 1 in 10 tweets being about climate change and sparked by Greta. And the impact that she's had globally has very much been felt in Asia as well. And the Friday for Futures hashtag that has been about school kids really bringing the attention to the next generation has also flown into the climate strike hashtag. And those movements have been felt here very much. And I think if you look at the markets that are among the top markets where you see mentions from, along with Germany and Sweden, you also see equally Thailand and Fiji being part of this conversation. So it's been a global conversation and manifests very much in Asia as well.
Well, absolutely. And how does it then drive your business? People becoming passionate about a subject can only be good for Twitter, surely.
Twitter as a platform, we're all about, showing people what's happening in the world around them. And from a consumer story, this is very much top of mind and relevant for the millennials and the Gen Zs. But what we also find is that corporations understand that, Twitter users, for instance, 1 out of 2 Twitter users cares about the environment a lot. 6 out of 10 will pay more for eco-friendly and sustainable products. So as brands think about their purpose, their presence on Twitter, and as they market themselves on Twitter, the conversation's very much becoming inclusive of thinking about sustainability and climate change.
Absolutely, but I want to just get to the business itself. And the Asia-Pacific is, I suppose, is it not the fastest growing part of the Twitter ecosystem? And tell us about the revenues and how much revenues you're actually able to glean from this part of the world, because it is a challenge, is it not?
The monetization around Twitter continues to be strong in Asia. We see multiple engines of growth here. We see markets like China, Southeast Asia, all being strong, important engines of that revenue growth. And we also see that India continues to be a very important audience growth market for us. We're constantly doing partnerships there. I mean, we're at the FinTech Festival. I can definitely tell you we partnered with Paytm to continue and extend our footprint in India by syndicating a lot of tweet content to wider Paytm users in India. So broadly, a strong engine of growth, and our strategy is working, and we continue to sort of double down across markets.
But give me percentage-wise, how much of your revenue is rising here?
Well, we don't actually break up our revenue growth percentages by market, but I can definitely tell you that video, for instance, as a format, has driven significant growth in the region. One great example is One Championship right here in Southeast Asia has been a partner. We stream video content from sporting events like One Championship fights across Asia, which is a very Asian-made story. And they continue to be a great partner from both a content and monetization standpoint for us. But definitely a signal of larger growth and strength here in Asia.
I guess you look at daily active users, and how are you doing with that?
The MDAU story, the monetizable daily active user story, has been strong internationally. If you look at our MDAU growth, it's been a strong growth both year on year and sequentially quarterly, across markets. And our MDAU growth has been, we registered a global 17% year on year growth. And that growth was we saw growth across all top 10 markets. So it's been a strong growth story on audience, and a lot of it driven by products and constant innovation that we're doing. We've just launched a new product just a few days ago around giving users the ability to follow topics. And we can foresee around sports, entertainment, and news. And we can foresee large conversations like climate change be very much a topic in the future that people could follow.